Hello everyone. April the 29th, just one day prior to this very powerful solar eclipse of tomorrow, and I will show you why it is so important. This 10th, 11th degree of Taurus has already been charged up quite a bit. It started with the year of the water tiger, the beginning of this Chinese year, which had exactly that degree with Uranus here at the source point. This showed immediately this would be an extremely interesting year. Lots of surprises, lots of unexpected twists and turns, and it's all about bringing this wellness, health, everything into perfect frequency alignment. So we will have a breakthrough. This is the chart of a true breakthrough. I said that already then, particularly with Mars rising. This was the year of the big confrontation. And Hygeia high up here, very beautifully placed. As I say, Hygeia is about health, well-being and serendipity in a more overall way, to be at the right place at the right moment. So this was extremely auspicious, and now tomorrow the eclipse is in this degree. You see that's how far the sun has traveled since February the 1st, when this foundation was laid. Now the sun has covered that arc, and tomorrow it will be at this degree. Furthermore, if we look at the Jupiter ingress, which is just 10 days away into Aries, which will be a big new cycle starting. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, is in Pisces, still has been in here for the last few months. Actually went in a real rush through its own Pisces. And by May 10th, it will enter Aries. And again, you see this is the Greenwich chart. And again, it has this 11th, 12th degree this time, Taurus at the 4th house cusp. So this is a big theme of initiating a new direction. That's the very basic meaning, particularly so as it's the dward and decant of Virgo here between 10 degrees and 12.5 degrees resonates with Virgo, and here we have the Virgo moon then when Jupiter will enter Aries. But if we go back here to the eclipse of tomorrow, now furthermore, and this was kind of came really as a surprise when I did the rectification for the Ukraine chart. That's what I came up with. That is the moment as I figured out time-wise. I mean, this was the day when the Ukraine declared independence from the Soviet Union, the former Soviet Union. And on that day, it was decided there will be a referendum held, which then was on December 1st. However, it's the intention which counts. And this chart actually reflects extremely well what's going on. I was able to see things, and I already can tell you now as a little teaser. We will see very positive developments through the next few weeks. There will be end of a war, probably end of the last war on this planet for thousands of years. This might sound exaggerated, but believe me, we are certainly at this point when this war is sealed with an agreement. And naturally we know that it's very clear Russia has won that war. It's just a matter of time. The siege is underway. It's obvious to everyone who's watching it. The West might pump in millions and millions more of weaponry, but basically the moment they arrive in Ukraine, they are destroyed. That's what has happened in the last 2 weeks. We get all these informations all the time on Telegram. A very good channel to follow is the Oval Circle, for those of you interested. Just on the side. So anyway, it was very clear to me the moment I came out with this rectified chart for the Ukraine that this was the theme of the year, and this eclipse naturally happens here at the 4th house cusp of the Ukraine. We will look deeper into the Ukraine in another video. Just wanted to give you this as a teaser. Now let's go into what the energy is as at present, and today was a big day. Many things happened just in preparation of this eclipse. Heliocentric Earth-Hygiea conjunction. That means in this chart, as seen from the Sun, which is a purely energetic frequency, if you want, the what's as a potential, it's kind of the codons of the photons. Let me put it in a better language. Each photon which comes from the Sun carries a charge, carries a frequency, is encoded with information, and that is the information of which is brought in by the energy. This is what feeds us, what keeps us alive. It's the solar frequencies, the photons, the life energy, and this is super powerful when we have strong alignments. I have shown you in the last while over and again. For example, just a week ago or so, we had that Mars-Pluto conjunction, and sure enough, that was exactly the day when Russia showed off, you could say, with that test of that new ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile, which travels at Mach 20 or Mach 20 times the speed of sound, undetectable by radar. So anyway, this is a super advanced weapon system. If you have missed that, go to my last recording. This was kind of Russia telling everyone with eyes and ears, there's no chance that you can beat us. We have so that puts Putin and Russia in a great position, as the other side will eventually come to the table and start negotiating. That's very clear. That became then very clear. So anyway, the long story short, around June the 7th, we will see the peace agreement being signed. All the conditions Russia will ask for will have to be met. So this will change history. Anyway, we're a few weeks away, but everything looks that it moves in that direction. So today started with that Earth-Hygiea conjunction. This is the heliocentric chart. Now, if we looked at the same moment as seen from Earth, so the exact same moment, you see I'm just transferring the axis for Greenwich here over to the Sun, and now I'm bringing it back to the terrestrial appearances of these celestial bodies. And you know, it's all about perception. We're at the center of this arrangement of energies, and that's exactly the angle they are shining at us. So again, you have the same, regardless if seen from Earth or the Sun, the conjunction of Earth and Hygiea. And then naturally, if we stand on Earth, we will see the Sun on the other end. Interesting is that pretty much within an hour or so there was an exact T-square with Chariklo. Chariklo is compassion. It's the midwife which brings into something new into this world, giving birth to a whole new paradigm. And the paradigm I'm speaking about is the one which is independent of the old system, slowly gaining momentum. It is a network of thousands and millions of people, and every day there's more people getting online with that energetic network. That's truly what the awakening is, what the Great Awakening is. So anyway, Chariklo here, very powerfully placed. And this is just the beginning of the day. And then naturally the Mars Australia conjunction here in the Cancerian ward of Pisces, resonating here with the black moon, which is all about emotions, acting on our emotions, even if they are dark and difficult. We are taking the responsibility, and with Australia it's about rolling our sleeves back and getting real involved. Now the next week or so will be definitely very critical. It will be extremely exciting, and I will show you just a little sequence of alignments which allows us to guess what is behind that. Now, just a few hours later then, this was 2:44 a.m., we have heliocentric Arrokoth entering hexagram 61. Arrokoth, you might remember, is that little body which was discovered in 2014. Here it is, 2045 Arrokoth. That's the mark 2045 where the new hexagram begins. Now you know in the heliocentric there's always, everything moves direct, there's no retrograde, so this is the one moment now for the next few years. Arrokoth will express through 61 inner truth. Arrokoth is the farthest distant celestial body which has been closely visited. New Horizons spacecraft had its close flyby on January the 1st, 2019. Arrokoth, named after a native tribe of Virginia, and the word Arrokoth in their language means standing under the open sky. A man standing under the open sky, seeing the whole panorama, the whole firmament, all the stars at once. It is that inclusive, integrative vision which Arrokoth has demonstrated already in many ways, which comes into play. Now, that hexagram 61 inner truth is resonating with exactly that same frequency. It is seeing the essential truth in what is, honing in, focusing in on what really matters. In geocentric geometry, Arrokoth already has entered this hexagram back on January the 25th. Maybe you can go back a little bit and see what happened around that time. I had personally some quite disturbing news to deal with at the time. I got really bad news from my dentist, so I eventually will have, and actually had planned for that already, it was delayed, but I will have to deal with this when I go overseas. So, Arrokoth entering hexagram 61 on a purely energetic level, yes, opens the door even wider to that great invitation, I would call it, to see what matters. It is kind of all the curtains are now fully pulled open. Everything is out in the light. Nothing is really hidden anymore. And it is up to each and every person to start lining up the ducks, bringing all these impressions, all these perceptions into a line and start coming to the logical conclusions. It's about discernment and really really looking at what happens. Get your head out of the sand. Stop behaving like an ostrich. I guess that's really the bottom message here, and that's why we need seemingly all that shaking in a way and difficult situations. That's the reason. It's kind of only if you get that kick into your ass that you start getting on to the right track. You have to be kicked out of your bed in a way out of comfort to start doing the right thing. So that's kind of where we're at. It's kind of, I mean, everybody has always the chance to come out of the jungle, to come out of that MK Ultra programming, which sadly enough so many victims walk around out there still. You can see it, it's very visible. They have this thing in front of their mouth, seemingly still here in Canada, where it's no more necessary, no more mandatory, and still so many people. It just shows you how. But it's coming to light, and that is the thing. And the more and more the light is getting stronger. Now, let me show you here this quickly in the human design template. This is Hexagram 61 up here. You see this is a most powerful central position here in that central column of the channel, the individual channels, the knowledge, knowing circuit. It's called actually the knowing circuit. That's the central column here in our human template. So each time a planet is activating this segment of the zodiac, then this channel, this gate is starting to resonate. This brings me to this here, and this is the lunar nodes, the north node in hexagram 23 and the south node hexagram 43. This is one of those rare oppositions in the zodiac which make one channel, and this has been active with the lunar nodes since March the 14th and is ongoing till the end of July the 30th. So this is the channel of structuring, and I thought I really should bring a little attention to that too. I mean, there's so much I can talk about, and I like to kind of keep it short, but still I want to share this with you today. I found that was very important, and this is that channel of structuring. Now this is human design .tools and HD hyphen channels. HD means human design, so this all goes back to the human design, which was channeled in 1987, which is showing a whole new level of applying astrology. So when this channel is defined, structuring, linking the throat through gate 23, that's where the north node is, the gate of splitting apart, to gate 43, the gate of breakthrough, which is up in the Ajna in the third eye center. Let me just show you it again, show it to you again once more. Where is it hiding? Here it is. Right here you see it. So this is the channel of the genius to freak. It's the ability to look at things in a unique way, unusual perspective, reflection, ability to hold one's own point of view, at times to the exclusion of hearing or being affected of what others have to say. So it could be a bit of a cacophony, which definitely is the case. But that doesn't mean that actually one knows anything at all. It is really just that extreme conviction of knowing and being in line with one's own world view, one could say. So this channel, subtitled Genius to Freak, implies a great range of possible insights and expressions. Just because a person expresses something is no guarantee that they have expressed it intelligibly. Often the freak appellation is the result of poor communication rather than faulty insight. Very important. When the expression of those with this channel is grasped by others successfully, they are considered geniuses. And if not understood, they seem like freaks. So also there's quite a polarization going on naturally here. Anyone who has this channel, and again this is collective property between March the 14th and the end of July. So this is super important. This is showing this is one of the most, I would say it's the most powerful two hexagrams in the Taurus Scorpio axis. And for that reason I want to show you another diagram. Let me see, here is this, okay. So this is the dynamic of the zodiac. Now this is a big one, and I could talk hours about that. I really just want to bring it in as a teaser at this point. It shows the Taurus structure of the zodiac, and the central axis goes here through hexagram 1 and 2. That is the center of the two of these two signs, and then following comes 23 and 43. It's kind of the beginning of that figure 8. You could think of as a figure 8. It goes like that, and then here it goes this way, and then here the other way around, counterclockwise, and here clockwise, or vice versa. I guess I say it wrong. So that's kind of the dynamic. So this is a very powerful area, center of the two signs, Taurus and Scorpio. Naturally, with the Sun in Taurus, Earth is in Scorpio. That's one big insight to bring home here. Earth in Scorpio, that is bringing down all that Taurian solar energy to and digest it and work with it on the earthly levels. And Scorpio naturally is a very intense sign, a very dark in a way. It's mystical. Scorpio goes to the bottom of everything. So that's kind of the what's the word here? The dynamics. It's an extremely dynamic time. Also a center sign, Taurus and Scorpio, both fixed signs. They can get extreme, very identified. It's kind of the signs which are the least flexible they know exactly where to go, what to do, so that there can be some friction there coming up. But anyway, this just shows you the basic power, and this is the sequence of the of these lines. I mean, I could go, as I say, for hours. I will do that at some point in the future when I will offer some teachings. That's coming at some point when I'm ready for it. For now, I just wanted to tease you with this. I could read more. I don't want to go into this deeper here. You can look that up yourself. However, the next thing I want to quickly focus on is the Mayan calendar. Today, the 29th, we are here at the first day of this final column. 7 Imish, that is the red resonant dragon. A portal day, galactic activation portal, which always are super powerful days. We just had another one on Wednesday. You might recall that's just 2 days ago. That was the 27th of April. It would have been a day of deep and powerful interactions. Kawak is when the energy from above really interacts with the energy down on Earth, bringing in that divine spark. Also quartal day here in the 13 days of Men, the eagle, which is all about the power of vision, of seeing through things. That's another aspect of this powerful time we are in, this 13 days cycle of getting deep and direct insights. So tomorrow will be the spirit of the wind, the galactic wind, the white galactic wind, and which is the carrier of spirit, of information. So we are in the last column here. This will end on May the 18th, and then we start again. May 19th will be a new beginning, a new 260-day sequence. So this final column is all about integration and perfection. The green central castle is bringing all the impulses together, coming to meet at the center. So this is a time of bringing things to a full circle, complete whatever missing details there still are. So just keep this in mind as a general theme. Now let's go back to what happened today, because I just got started. So that was in the morning, as I said, started with Earth-Hygiea conjunction. Then we have the ingress of heliocentric Arrokoth into the hexagram of truth, of direct insight. And interestingly enough, I made here the chart for Kiev for that moment, and you won't believe it. And that is one of the reasons which makes me extremely positive and optimistic, because here you see that is the chart for Kiev for that moment, and Arrokoth at 22 degrees and 1 minute here geocentrically. However, heliocentrically it would be dead on. You see 2045 it is here in Capricorn. That's the degree where that hexagram starts, and that is exactly at the root of this chart. It is indicating that wisdom will win, that the scales will fall off, in a very, very general way, deception will not work anymore. It will become obvious what the situation is. It will be all unveiled. All the constructs of lies, House of Cards, are caving in, at least around this subject of the Ukraine. So this made me extremely hopeful. And as I say, I did a follow-up, and there's many signs. Yes, there will be peace coming not too far in the future. June the 7th, as I said. Keep that date in mind. So then, just a few hours later, today, you see we had, this was 3 p.m. roughly, and then at 6:36 p.m. Pluto is turning retrograde. So many things within short sequence. And then tomorrow we have the eclipse. So this is all in the build-up. And when that happens, that within a short sequence, there's many important milestones, astrologically speaking, turning points, shifts of energy. These different markers reinforce each other. And then naturally we have the Venus-Jupiter conjunction coming up. There's much more still. And I'm just lining it up here one at a time. So here we have now, this is the Pluto stationary chart for Greenwich, for the global zero meridian, 1/7 of a circle above the equator, which I explained, which is why I choose Greenwich, as where the navel is attached, where the umbilical cord is attached to Earth's navel. Seen from a cosmological way as perspective. So if we look now at this Pluto station, now this is a big moment. This means Pluto is at complete standstill. It's the yearly maximum it has reached here at 2835, and because from Earth's perspective, we are standing here on Earth, we are now moving more and more in that direction, and for that reason Pluto, which is far away here in the distance, is starting to appear moving backwards, because Earth is faster and Earth will pass between Pluto and the Sun, so to say, and that will make Pluto appear moving backwards for the next 4 to 5 months till the Earth is about over here. That happens to all outer planets every year for a few months. So the turning point, naturally it is like breath. You're breathing in and then you're breathing out and then you're breathing in. So this is the turning point from having completely exhaled, and now comes the inhale, Pluto's inhale. And that means this planet now will function in a more hidden, private, internal way, more underground, more subdued for the next few months, more introvert than extrovert. So this happened here under a Moon-Pluto square. This in itself is interesting, which shows, and it's the moon is void of course. Interesting. It means it's no more making an aspect before it enters the next sign, so it's kind of in a state of running into the void, not knowing what comes next. There's fog, confusion, unclarity, all that, and high levels of emotional stress. That is definitely the case, that is cannot be negated, and that will be the theme for these next few months. Very much similar to what I talked about here in one of my latest recordings about the Black Moon, which is in Cancer for 9 months till the end of this year. The Black Moon, the collective shadow in that very emotional sign Cancer, connected to the moon. It's about time to deal with all those things we usually don't want to look at. So it is not an easy time, for sure not. Very revelatory, very revealing. Everything comes to the surface, and it is important to stand by each other and help each other and hold each other's hands, particularly those people who are freshly awakening, who are freshly realizing what a nightmare they have been served on a silver tablet. Anyway, so intense times, in other words, and this is just the beginning. And interesting here is also naturally the Scorpio rising here globally, which amplifies this Plutonic energy further. Now, I did that same chart for Kiev when Pluto is turning retrograde, and just watch these degrees here. 2456 Scorpio is rising. And now if we just go to the next chart I have lined up here, which is tomorrow's partial solar eclipse at maximum eclipse for Greenwich, and that's how it looks. Some resonance there. I found that pretty exciting. So let's go back one more step. So this is the moment when Pluto, just a few hours ago, before I record this, Pluto turned retrograde, had reached its yearly maximum. This is how it's been positioned in Kiev at that moment. The 25th degree of Scorpio is rising, and if we now go to the next big energetic event, the center of tomorrow's eclipse on a global scale, exactly those degrees. I mean, it couldn't be more exact. Look at that. 2456. Sure, it could be a little more exact, but still, I mean, it's uncanny. It's really amazing. So this shows how things are interconnected. It's kind of the dendritic connections, the dendrites between different frequency events in different locations, how they are connecting with one another. I will just add one more chart. I don't want to get it too long here, and that is kind of the chart in between these two. The one which just happened a few hours ago, that is when Mercury entered Gemini. So Mercury is now in Gemini. From today on, April 29th, pretty much to the into July the 5th, right? So this is a long stay, and naturally in between, Mercury will turn retrograde on the let me see, where did I write it down? On the 13th, I guess. Let me just check that quickly. Just not want to tell you something wrong here. I wrote it down somewhere. On the 10th, right? Short before Jupiter enters Aries, actually, which is another interesting coincidence there. So anyway, Mercury in Gemini now, and what stands out here is again a void, of course, moon. I mean, it's just hours after it had been here. That was the chart of Pluto's station at 9:36 p.m. and at 10:23 p.m., less than an hour, Mercury enters Gemini. So Mercury in Gemini is in its own sign. So for the next roughly 2 months till early July, again I want to say between May the 23rd and June the 13th, Mercury will have another dip back into Taurus energy, but between now, today, April 29th, till May the 23rd, and then again from June 13th to July 5, Mercury expresses through Gemini its own sign. Very smart, very fast, ability to process thought at a super speed. Here under a conjunction with Sedna, which it had today, which is very deep and profound thoughts. Also the ability to deal with hardship and terror and anxiety, and all these things might have come up for some people today. I mean, Sedna has been overall very, very powerful over the last 2-3 years, over and again. I mean, it was kind of activated by Algol here at 26 degrees and 26 minutes presently. Since then, Sedna has kind of been exaggerated, and Sedna is a very slow one. It takes 11,000 plus years to move once around the zodiac. Anyway, this is just of today. I will get deeper into the eclipse and everything in my next video. I just think I don't want to make them too long. So thanks again for listening, and if you liked what you heard, share it or subscribe. Yes, okay. Thank you. Take care.